Olá, bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, tudo bem com você? Eu espero que sim. So this is part 2 of our lesson 5, talking about países, nacionalidades e línguas. Countries, nationalities and languages. I think it's more than pertinent for us to start this lesson by revising a little bit about what we studied about the verb ser in Portuguese, um, and make some contrast with the verb estar as well. We have to remember that in Portuguese, ser or estar is the equivalent of the verb to be in English. So let's get started. Okay, in class, we studied the verb ser a little bit. We studied how it's conjugated, and I would like to practice it with you again. The verb ser is conjugated as eu sou, tu és, você é, ele é, ela é, nós somos, vós sois, vocês são, eles são, elas são. So it's very easy to know the pronunciation of the conjugated verb ser. One thing that we have to remember, and I've started introducing now, and of course in our next semester we're going to discuss more about that, is about the conjugation of verbs. Okay, both Brazil and Portugal speak Portuguese. It's the common language. When we are learning to conjugate the verbs, we have to also introduce the word tu. Tu is an equivalent of você. However, in Brazilian Portuguese, we consider the word tu slightly more formal. It's not too conversational, which is why we have adopted to our grammar the word você more often as acceptable. Okay? So you will hear Brazilians saying você more than tu. Okay? So in European Portuguese, you will hear Europeans saying tu és more than você é. Does that mean that I'm not going to be able to say você é in Europe? Of course, you can say você é. It's not a problem. You still speak in Portuguese. The same way applies with vós. Vós is the same as vocês. So, vós sois ou vocês são. Tudo bem? Again, in Portugal, it's more common for you to hear sois, vós sois, than vocês são. But that doesn't mean that if you say vocês são, you won't be understood. You will be understood, okay? So that's simple, isn't it? Okay. Como usamos o verbo ser? How do we use the verb ser? We use the verb ser for introductions. Example, eu sou Luciana, I am Luciana. Meu nome é Luciana, my name is Luciana. Este é Marcos, this is Marcos. We use the verb ser to express nationality or place of origin. Example, eu sou brasileira, I am Brazilian. Dani é do Brasil, Dani is from Brazil. Eles são americanos, they are Americans. Use ser to state a profession. Eu sou professora, I am a teacher. Márcio é médico, Márcio is a doctor. We use ser to describe permanent or long-lasting characteristics of people, places, and objects, like in the examples below. Carol é muito engraçada. Carol is very funny. Este livro é muito bom. This book is very good. São Paulo é uma cidade fascinante. São Paulo is a fascinating city. João é um cara alegre. João is a happy guy. Or we use se to indicate ownership. Este livro é meu. This book is mine. Essa é a casa da Camila. This is Camila's house. After talking a little bit about the verb ser, I want to talk to you about the verb estar. The verb estar in Portuguese, it's conjugated as eu estou, tu estás, ele está, nós estamos, vós estáis, e eles estão. In this particular example, I use tu estás, but I could have also said você está. Vós estáis. We could have said vocês estão. Okay? Once again, I'm going to emphasize that tu and vós are more commonly used in European Portuguese than in Brazilian Portuguese. In Brazilian Portuguese, vocês is more common. Okay? And você and vocês are more commonly used in spoken Portuguese. Please bear in mind. One more question. Does that mean I'm not going to be able to use você or vocês in Portugal? Of course you can use você and vocês in Portugal because we are talking about the Portuguese language. It's a common language. Please do not forget that. You will be understood. Okay, now, como usamos o verbo estar? How do we use the verb estar? We use the verb estar to express conditions, characteristics, or state that are transitory or not permanent, such as how you feel at a certain moment. Let's see the examples below. Oi, tudo bem? Como estão as coisas? Hi, how are you? How are things? Tiago está muito cansado hoje. Tiago is very tired today. Você está linda nesse vestido. You look great in this dress. Joana está muito feliz porque recebeu uma promoção no trabalho. Joanna is feeling happy, very happy, because she got a promotion at work. Okay, we use the verb estar to talk about the location of people, animals, and objects. Let's see the examples. Maria está em casa. Maria is at home. So Maria is at home now. Okay? So that's why it's important to remember that estar is not permanent. She is now, probably 5 minutes time, she might be at the beach or somewhere else. So that's why we use estar and not Maria é at home. Okay? That's very important to remember. Okay, next one. Maria está na praia. Better, Lorena está na praia. Onde está a chave do carro? Where's the car key? Okay, where's the car key? Now. Okay. And here comes with the contrast of the verb ser and the verb estar. We need to understand when to use them. Again, we already know that estar is something that's not permanent. It's not a fixed thing. Whereas then, if estar is not fixed, it's not permanent, that means that ser is permanent. So let's see the examples. When we say things like this, Joana, Juliana é feliz. I am using the verb ser. In the second example, I am saying Juliana está feliz. In this particular case, I am using the verb estar. Both the sentences are correct, but they express different meaning. When I say Joana é feliz, I am saying that Joana is permanently happy. Okay? So that's what é means. It's permanent. It's fixed. Juliana está feliz. That means Juliana está feliz at the moment. So in about 5 minutes time, we don't know if Juliana is going to be sad or angry at someone. Can you see then the difference now? So to recap, se is permanent, está is not permanent. Now, I am going to show you a little list of some expressions that are used with the verb estar. They are highlighted in red, and I want you to pay attention to them. So we normally use them along with the verb estar. Okay, let's begin. Estou com fome. Com fome. I'm hungry. Todos estão com fome. Everyone is hungry. Helena está com sede. Com sede. Helena is thirsty. Estou com frio. Com frio. I feel cold. Estou com calor. Com calor. I feel hot. Márcio está com sono. Com sono. Márcio is sleepy. Nós estamos com pressa. Com pressa. We are in a hurry. Mariana não está com medo. Com medo. Mariana isn't scared. Ela está com ciúme do namorado. Com ciúme. She is feeling jealous of her boyfriend. Ele está com inveja de você. Com inveja. He is feeling envious of you. Rafael está com dor de cabeça. Com dor de cabeça. He has a headache. Now, I want to stop you right here because I want to mention how important it is to understand how that culture express themselves. Whilst in English, for instance, I say, I have a headache. In Portuguese, you cannot say, eu tenho uma dor de cabeça. You say, eu estou com dor de cabeça. The same way it says, Rafael está com dor de cabeça. So every time you talk about a pain, we'll say está with a pain, with an ache. Patrícia está com raiva porque o computador está quebrado. So Patricia is angry because the computer is broken. Com raiva. Marcos está com enjoo. Marcos is feeling sick. This next topic, I want to call your attention to some little tips about how to speak like a Brazilian or a Portuguese person. In this particular example, we are a little bit lazy whenever we say words like está. Instead of saying está in informal communication, we're going to say tô. Está, tá. Estou, tô. Estamos, we normally say estamos. Okay? Just to shorten the words a little bit. And it's very common. Let's see some examples. Estou muito feliz hoje. As in, estou muito feliz hoje. Okay? So we're saying, estou muito feliz hoje. Tá tudo bem com você? Tá tudo bem com você? Ou está tudo bem com você? Quem tá com fome? Ou quem está com fome? Percebe? Então, stay tuned, pay attention to those little words and conversations, or apply them in your real life conversations with Portuguese speakers. Okay, everybody, so in this topic, I want to talk a little bit more about vocabulary again. And I have selected a list of Portuguese words and their equivalent in European Portuguese. Okay, so let's read it with me. In Brazil, sorvete. In Portugal, gelado. For us in Brazil, gelado is actually iced. Bunda bunda in Brazil, but in European Portuguese, rabo. Rabo, actually, if we translate that into Brazilian Portuguese, it means tail. There we are. Next, geladeira. Geladeira in Brazilian Portuguese, which is fridge. In European Portuguese, frigorífico. European Portuguese, celular. It's a word used for mobile phone. In European Portuguese, telemóvel. Carona, which is a word used for ride or lift. In European Portuguese, boleia. Injeção, which is shot or injection in Brazilian Portuguese. In European Portuguese, it would be injeção ou pica. Now, you have to be careful because the word pica in Brazilian Portuguese has a different connotation. It's actually talking about male parts. Oops. So be careful how to use it. Fone de ouvidos, headphones. In European Portuguese, headphones is called auscultadores ou fones. Parada, ponto de ônibus or parada de ônibus. These words are for bus stop. In European Portuguese, it's only paragem. Vaso sanitário, which is toilet vase. In European Portuguese, it's called sanita or retrete. In Brazilian Portuguese, we call xícara for a little mug. In European Portuguese, we call it chavena. Professor particular in Brazilian Portuguese, which is a private tutor or private teacher. In European Portuguese, is called explicador. Okay, talking about vocabulary again, I have o vocabulário de expressões comuns ou idiomatic expressions or regional expressions of Brazil. These expressions are they are commonly used in Brazil. I like these expressions a lot, and I hope you enjoy them. You actually know one of them, which is mamão com açúcar. Mamão com açúcar is when something is very easy. Example number 2 is nem que a vaca tussa. Repete, nem que a vaca tussa. This expression means even if the cow coughs, which doesn't make any sense, and that is the reason. We use the expression nem que a vaca tussa when we are determined to do something. Eu vou falar português nem que a vaca tussa. So you're fighting against the impossible. That's the idea. Okay? And impossible, that is possible. That's important. Eu vou correr 5 kilometers, nem que a vaca tussa. I'm going to run 5 kilometers, even if the cow coughs. Okay? Próximo. Número 3, Santo do Pauoco. Santo do Pauoco, which doesn't really make much sense. I'm going to just break down the sentence and explain the meaning for you. Santo is a saint. Pau is wood, could be a trunk. Oco is hollow. A saint of the hollowed wood? I don't know. Anyway, this expression actually means when you say that a person is a santo do pauoco is when someone does naughty things and don't want to admit they did. Okay? Also, when somebody claims that I am this, this, and that, but in the background we already know that person. We know that he's not what he preaches. Okay? So you say ele é santo do pauoco. Okay? Not ele está, ele é santo do pauoco. Okay? Or when you want to just be directed to the person in a funny way, you just say seu santo do pauoco. Next one is Maria vai com as outras. So Maria vai com as outras. The direct translation would be Mary goes along with the others. That means you believe in everything people say. Like, I don't know, Luiz é Maria vai com as outras. He believes in everybody. Okay? Número 5, I think it's one of my favorite ones. But here we go. The expression is mais liso que pau de galinheiro. Mais liso que pau de galinheiro. A direct translation would be more slippery than a stick in a chicken's house. Mais liso do que pau de galinheiro. That means when you sarcastically want to say, sarcastically or dramatically, you want to say to someone that you are broke. I am broke. Eu tô mais liso do que pau de galinheiro. Minha mãe tá mais lisa que pau de galinheiro. Okay? Number 6. Jumento batizado. Jumento batizado. Jumento batizado in English would be a baptized donkey. And think about a donkey. A donkey, when a donkey is angry, is always like kicking people, right? So that is used when somebody is really rude by personality, or when a person gets along as being rude. So you sort of like, when you're angry, you just call that person, você é jumento batizado, or seu jumento batizado. All right? And number 7, okay, is mais perdido que cego em tiroteio. Mais perdido que cego em tiroteio. And the direct translation for that is more lost than a blind person in a gunfire. Mais perdido que cego em tiroteio. What I'm trying to say with that is when you are really confused about something and you don't really know how to explain it, or when you don't know a thing or anything or what somebody is explaining to you, you just say, eu estou mais perdido que cego em tiroteio. Or when you're lost, actually, when you're lost somewhere, so you say, eu estou mais perdido que cego em tiroteio. Okay? I hope you like these expressions. Mamão com açúcar, nem que a vaca tussa, santo do pau oco, Maria vai com as outras, mais liso que pau de galinheiro, jumento batizado, mais perdido que cego em tiroteio. I would like to say thank you for your participation in this video lesson. Obrigado pela sua participação nesta videoaula. Por favor, leia e revise o material de estudos, okay? And once again, if you have any questions, I am more than happy to answer your questions in the comments down below, okay? And take care, and I see you in the next class. Bye.